Welcome back to part 3 of What If Savage Opress was Palpatine's apprentice. Thank you to all of you who watched the first 2 parts of this video. To recap what happened in those episodes, in the event you haven't seen them, Savage changed the Battle of Naboo by joining the battle droids against the Gungans, and using his immense power he had defeated Obi-Wan. But Dooku and Sifo Dyas had managed to take the body of the Jedi Knight, hoping to defeat both the Jedi and the Sith by creating plans for their own empire. Dooku carefully transported the body of Obi-Wan in a carbonite freezing chamber and set course for the planet of Geonosis, where upon his landing he is greeted by Poggle the Lesser. Dooku is impressed by the droid factories, but entering the underground catacombs he found what he had been searching for, with a number of Geonosians working in a laboratory. The scientists were busy operating on the fallen but broken male Kaleesh warlord, who Dooku planned to make the commander of the droid army, and the former Jedi gave the body of Obi-Wan so they could extract his blood to use on the cyborg. Whilst waiting for the procedure to be completed, Dooku decided he would check upon his second army by venturing to the stormy planet of Kamino. The separatist leader was greeted by the Kamino and Prime Minister Lama Su, but this time he could feel a deeply unpleasant stench in the Force, and reaching the embryo room, he blocked the Kaminoans from an attack made by Savage Opress. The Zabrak had been tracking Dooku for many rotations, going against all of his instincts to gather information on what Dooku had been planning, and now he would kill him. The former Jedi duelist had other ideas, and blocking the lightning attack from his opponent with ease, he used all of his skill in Form 2 of lightsaber combat to dissect one of the legs of Savage, and he hurried to the exit in pain. Limping all the way back to his home planet of Dathomir, his failure meant he knew his next encounter with Sidious would be painful, so asked Talzin to reinforce his armour and limbs. The leader of the clan was becoming displeased with the methods of the Sith, and decided to introduce Savage to his lost brother Maul, in the hopes that they would be able to overthrow Sidious. Secretly breaking the rule of 2 by deciding to train Maul, Savage knew he had to wait until his master was at his most vulnerable to strike, and headed back to Coruscant to meet with Sidious. The Sith Lord was surprisingly impressed with Savage's investigation into Dooku, and carefully readjusting his plans to accommodate the separatist leader, he returned to his customary pod in the Senate building. Using his influence over most of the politicians, he cited the imminent threat of Dooku's droid army and the potential of the clones, so requested for the Republic to mount a takeover of the facilities. The Senate is reluctant to engage in a war, and Senator of Naboo in particular is against their need of an army, and asked for a form of negotiation with the Separatist alliance. Palpatine knew it would be difficult to shift the position of the senator, and after the meeting, he requested the services of the Duros bounty hunter Cad Bane. The reputable bounty hunter had a high price, but for it, he managed to gain a template of Coruscant's most important buildings, and posing as a guard for Palpatine, the Sith Lord quietly ordered for the lights to be turned off, and for the traps to be set. The entire room descended to chaos, with senators both scared to move and looking for a way out, but Bane falsely declared that as one of Dooku's warriors, this was merely a sample of his powers. Palpatine had intentionally left a signal from a transmitter close by, and there to receive it at the Jedi Temple was the newly knighted Jedi Anakin Skywalker. With his master Qui-Gon off-world, the Jedi Knight felt his anger bubbling at the thought of Padme being in danger, but using his patience to evaluate the situation, just as his master had taught him, he examined the layout of the Grand Convocation Chamber and found an access point to the turbolift in the Chancellor's repulsor pod. Stealthily navigating to the hostages, with only his lightsaber as a light, the Jedi Knight saw Bane holding a detonator switch and wrenched it off of him with the Force. The bounty hunter's job was already done, and igniting his flaming gauntlets, he lit a blaze of fire in his escape. Anakin calmly deactivated all of the traps, and the senators were freed from their imprisonment, but Palpatine's plan had succeeded, as the senators voted for a capture of the clones on Kamino. Utilising a mix of Jedi interceptors and newly built Republic gunships, the majority of the Jedi Order bravely traversed the difficult weather, expecting to be met with a wave of the new droid army, but instead the skies are deserted. Suspiciously approaching the platforms on foot, the Jedi suddenly found themselves surrounded by Trident-class assault ships, and they have to form a circle of defence to stand any chance of surviving. Infiltrating the main facility, the Kaminoan scientists are arrested for their crimes of conspiring against the Republic, whilst the Jedi inspect the clones. Regarding them as capable combatants, Yoda is satisfied enough to integrate them into their future battles against the Separatist Alliance, and Dooku's plan has succeeded. That is it for part 3 of What If Savage Opress was Palpatine's apprentice. If you'd like to see a finale soon, please like this video, turn on that notification bell, click that subscribe button on this channel, as well as on my other channel What If Films. And as always, leave a comment on what if you'd all like to see next, and how I can improve my videos. Thank you all very much for watching, and see you next time.